What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel Life of Bonsai. Today I have a video about some of the biggest mistakes that as a beginner I've made myself, and I'm sure a lot of people made as well, and some of you guys that are watching this video are just getting started and are confused or want to know what is the fastest way of doing things. And let me just tell you that one of the biggest things is patience. When it comes to bonsai, you need to have patience. You need to take your time, make sure you work your trees slowly, just so you can really progress. We all want to have a great tree, but it all takes time. Unfortunately, with me, these 5 mistakes that I'm about to show you lead me to unfortunately kill some of the trees that I had, and some really beautiful ones with a lot of potential. So I'm about to show you here 5 of the biggest bonsai beginner mistakes that I made myself, so you don't have to make those mistakes. Let's keep going. So this is the first mistake: reporting your tree at the wrong time. What does that mean? So of course we all want to, we all get a tree, and sometimes it comes in a nursery pot, and the first thing I did was just to have all my trees on a bonsai pot, because that's what we want. We want a bonsai. But unfortunately, there is a right time and the wrong time to do this. See this tree right here? This was a beautiful crepe myrtle, and I had gotten it in a bonsai. I'm sorry, in a nursery pot before. Just beautiful. I added moss, a pot that I got. I trimmed a lot of those roots, a lot of it. I put it back in bonsai style. I added regular soil, as you can see, just beautiful. That was the same day, just right after I was done. But check this out. A few weeks later, the leaves started falling within the next day, started wilting, and the tree just kept on decaying, keep on dying. This was summertime. I added the wrong soil, and I also did it at the wrong time. The tree was just in summer heat. It was just so hot, so the tree could not tolerate, me doing all that root pruning that I did. And here it is. Just a few days later, this was within, I would say, 8-9 days. The tree was completely dead. And the reason why is because I just, instead of using bonsai soil, instead of waiting for the right time, which would be at the beginning of spring when the leaves are starting to, just shooting, I did not wait. I had no patience, and this is the reason why my tree died. And unfortunately, this is what happens when you do the wrong things. This is one of the biggest mistakes that I regret, especially with this tree. This was a beautiful old tree, and I killed it. So let's keep moving to another mistake that I made. Okay, so the next mistake that I made was pruning too much at the wrong time, and wire technique as well, which is something not too serious, but still. So yeah, pruning too much. There is a right time of pruning and a right amount of pruning. You can do a little bit of pruning here and there on a tree, maybe just a leaf, two. Definitely you want to be smart about it. If you do big branches, just trimming down big branches, you have to use a paste. When you do pruning, what happened is there's an open wound on the tree that could cause, infection. There is loss of energy, stress on the plant. As you can see, I had a winged elm, and it started turning yellow because I just grabbed those pruning shears, and I just started just pruning and pruning, just shaping it, thinking I was gonna have the best tree ever, and this is what happened. As you can see, the leaves started turning yellow. It got some type of bacterial infection, and it started just decaying. The tree started just dying, and another tree that I killed due to my impatience, and I just started pruning too much. at the wrong time as well. It was also summertime. I started losing a lot of sap, and it just caused the tree to just completely die on me. Also, wiring, you want to do the right wiring technique. You don't want to leave the wire for too long, or you can have wire bites, which doesn't look pleasing to the eye. This is the right technique of doing it right here. And also, when you start just leaving those wires for a long time, this is how the tree just starts, growing too much, too big, and you have those ugly scars on the tree. Overwatering and underwatering. It might sound confusing, and it really is. I was confused about that. A lot of water is not always good for the tree. You need to water your trees for them to live. That's how they get hydration and do all the things that they need to. But you need to do the right amount. Not too much, not too little. What I do is I just put my finger in the soil about an inch or two, and if you still feel a little bit of moisture or a little bit of wetness, it's not time to water the tree. Also, when you water too much, you start getting root rot, which causes the tree to start getting fungus, and that can kill your tree. I'm really ashamed of saying this, but I've also killed trees by overwatering them. Not really by not watering them too much, but by overwatering them. I just kept adding water to them. I thought, they need to be happy. They need to be watered. I was so excited with my trees. I just wanted to be outside, just watering them, and but yeah, that ended up killing a lot of the trees that I had. Most of them actually that I killed was just for overwatering. So be smart, be patient. Depends on the soil. If it rains too much where you live, you might not even need to water your trees that much. So just be smart and make sure that you water only when it's needed. Sometimes you might have a drier climate. You might need to water more often, but again, just always check the soil first. If it's moist or a little bit of wetness or really wet, don't water. If it's dry to the touch, water. It all depends on your soil. It all depends on where you live. Be smart. Don't overwater your trees, and definitely water them when needed. Another mistake, and this is not really a bad mistake. It all depends on you, but I call it stick in a pot. This is something that we get normally. A tiny little tree, a little seedling, something small in a small pot. This is something that I got as my first tree. This is not a bonsai. Sorry to tell you this, but this is not a bonsai. If that's what you want to have, then that's totally fine. But we all want to have a nice big tree, just like this one. Something beautiful with beautiful pads, beautiful, just thick trunk, tall, a beautiful collection. But it's all about using it at the right time. If you just have a little tree in a pot, a tiny little tree, and you expect it to get big, something like this, or you're expecting it to get massive, it won't happen. You will not get something like this by keeping something like this. See, because if you have something this small, if you like it that small and that's how you want to have it, then of course, you're pretty much done with your tree. But as you get older on bonsai, you are going to want something nice, something big, something like this. But having a little tree like this, there's not enough room for it to grow. The roots need to come down for the tree to get bigger, stronger. The trunk needs to get fatter. But if you have something tiny like this, it is not going to grow. You might get a little bit of growth at the top, but the trunk is pretty much going to remain the same. and you won't have that big bonsai that you want. So again, a stick in a pot is not a bonsai. It takes time. If you have something in a pot already and it's just really small and you want it to get bigger, you need to put it into a nursery pot, one of those black plastic pots, slightly bigger, not too big, just a little bit bigger, and just let it grow there. Once it gets bigger, switch it to a larger one, and so on until you have the size that you want. And the last one, really important, the wrong tree, wrong location. What do I mean by this? Most of the trees that we get, like a juniper, we tend to have them inside. We want to have them on a table inside because it looks beautiful, and it does, but it's going to die. A tree needs sunlight, some type of light. There's indoor trees that you can get if you want to have it inside, but you need to have it by a window, or also something like this, which is what I have. This is a grow light right here. This helps the tree, get that light that it needs. But there is also outdoor trees that they need to stay outside their whole life. You cannot bring them inside because they need the sunlight. Some of them need some shade. It all depends. You need to do your research before you get a tree and see if you are able to provide the environment that it needs. And with this, we conclude the video. I really hope that this helps. It would have helped me a lot if I was to know these things before I started. But of course, it helped me learn and get better as I'm learning more and more every day. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. Please subscribe, share with your friends. If they are starting bonsai, please consider sharing this video with them. Turn on those notifications, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I hope you have some great holidays.